Now, the trial of a former U.S. presidential hopeful has begun in North Carolina. John Edwards is accused of using $1 million in campaign funds to conceal an affair with an aide with whom he fathered a child. Let's cross directly to the courthouse in Greensboro, North Carolina. NBC's Steve Hendlesman is there. Steve, this is the opening day of the John Edwards trial. Just bring us up to date with what's been happening there today, or what's expected to happen there today.
Well, let's take a step back there and how far the once mighty can fall. This is North Carolina. This is where John Edwards was elected to serve in the U.S. Senate. This was his base for a couple of presidential runs. From here, he ran as vice president of the United States, didn't win that office. And this is a guy who was rich, who was famous, who had a wonderful family, and it all blew up. And this is what some are seeing as his last gasp in public. It may not be a pretty sight. The charge is pretty straightforward, that when Edwards realized that it would become publicly known that he had a mistress, that she was pregnant with his child, that it was ruined his chances to be nominated to get the Democratic nomination to run for president. And so he, according to prosecutors, took part in a conspiracy to get about $1 million that would help keep that woman quiet. It didn't work. Prosecutors say he knew about it. He knew the campaign laws, that this was motivated, Darren, by his desire to be president. And therefore, he should have known and did know, they would say, that this was a campaign contribution, that he kept it secret, and that being nearly $1 million, it was way, way, way over the individual limits for two donors. The defense says, in a nutshell, it wasn't a campaign contribution. John Edwards didn't know about it, and even if he did, it wouldn't be illegal because it didn't go to him, it didn't go to his campaign, and it wasn't illegal. So we'll have a trial about 6 weeks long here, Darren. Back to you.
Steve, as you say, John Edwards is a two-time presidential hopeful. Just briefly, how much publicity is surrounding this case? I mean, it has all the ingredients of a classic novel, as you say, doesn't it? Power, sex, money.
Well, it does, except for the sex and the money are well known. You know, I think he's seen here as kind of political roadkill. This is a guy who once soared so high, and he's already low, low, low. His wife, Elizabeth, his wife at the time of the affair, had cancer when Edwards had his affair with this photojournalist, Riel Hunter. Mrs. Edwards has since passed away. This is a guy who was once a well-known, ironically, because he's on trial here, once one of the best-known and most feared defense trial lawyers here in North Carolina, all over the East Coast of the U.S. The guy was a fearsome figure, then a politician, could have been president, and now look at him. You know, I don't think that this will be such a big revelation, Darren, in terms of the facts of the case. I think people here are interested to see if he gets convicted. They'll want to know if he actually serves up to 30 years in prison. He faces a $2.5 million fine. That he can probably afford. But the rest of it is just, well, it's kind of sad, really.
Okay,
Darren?
NBC Steve Hendlesman. Steve, thank you.